G'day, hobbyists, and welcome back to The Hobby, the podcast where we explore all things related to TCGs and passions, from trading cards to pop culture and everything else in between. I am your host, Dean Alsop, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, the Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Lee the Colonel Kearns. How are you, brother?
What's happening, Dino? How are we, hobbyists?
Man, a little dusty today, actually.
It was, man. It was a massive day yesterday. We celebrated one of our very good friends, Gabe and Natalie's wedding.
We did, and it was a beautiful wedding. It was a beautiful wedding out there in Sorrento. The weather turned it on for him in the end, pretty much right before the ceremony. The sun came out. It was magical up there on the cliffs. It was beautiful. I love. So, to see those two lovebirds tie the knot was a great day.
Yeah, it was very, very emotional. There was the sorbent tissues were out a bit yesterday.
They were.
Some of the speeches were unbelievable, and the walk down the aisle. It was,
mate, Natalie looked phenomenal.
Yeah,
and Gabe looked pretty sharp too.
He scrubbed up all right.
Credit where credit's due.
For a bloke that I see in the morning, it doesn't look as though he's ever showered. He scrubbed up all right.
He did, didn't he? He did. But you had a good time, mate. You were the MC for the evening, which I'll say you did a great job.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's such an honor and a privilege to be able to just go to someone's wedding, but to be able to MC the event, and hopefully they had the best day of their lives. So
it looked like they did.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you did a good job, but I'm not going to hand over the intros to you. Okay.
All right.
I'm still going to manage those. But if anybody is looking for an MC, reach out to me. I'm Kearnsey's manager. So I can sort that out.
What's your percentage cut?
35.
35?
Yeah.
Fuck. 20.
Nah.
35.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, it was good fun, man. Like,
it was a beautiful day, man.
Yeah. And
there was a few Pokemon references in both the vows.
Yeah,
like Natalie said something, and then Damon also mentioned it in his speech as well, in Best Man speech. There was it was good to see some Pokemon references.
Yeah, the one that stands out was your whole life you've been trying to catch them all, but now you've realized you've only got to catch one.
Yeah,
and it was like, oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, maybe was it the celebrant that said that? I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Or did Damon say that?
I know Damon said it.
Yeah.
But and then we also had Ricky the DJ from the Collectorverse there as well. It just was like such a big collector's,
It was, man. It was cool.
It was really, really awesome. And I mean, all their friends and family are lovely people. So.
Beautiful people. I had a really good chat with his mum. She was awesome. Yeah. I asked her to save me a dance, but then we never got around to it. So rain check on that one.
That's because you weren't on the dance floor all night.
I know, man. I was pretty tired, and I'm still pretty tired.
I very much tailored my night until after all the formalities have happened, and then I just let loose there for a few hours there, and I was very well hydrated. Let's say that.
Yes. No, but it's good to be back for another episode. There's always something to discuss in the hobby. We've got a long list of things we want to cover today, so we might as well head over to the news.
Dino, we're going to start off with some golden auctions. This is the way we start the news. I want to give you some of the biggest sales recently.
Cool.
And I've gone with a theme. The theme for this week is sports.
Makes sense.
It's Super Bowl week, NBA trade deadline, massive news that we'll talk a little bit about Australia and American sports later on. So I've gone through and I've picked out some very relevant sales. So for $53,680, which is 85,000 Australian, you could have picked up 12 Beckett 9.5 Don Russ Patty Mahomes cards. There's some numbered cards in there.
So that was a full collection, collection of 12 cards.
Collection of 12 cards, yeah. So there was a numbered black and purple numbered to 25 and 50 in there. Very smart from the seller to put that up Super Bowl week,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very, very time relevant sale.
Yes.
But those cards look great. And when you see the images of those, it makes you kind of want to buy those for sure.
Harry didn't sound too happy about that sale.
Nah, I think he wants the Eagles to win. I think he
does.
He heard Patty. And
every time we say Patrick Mahomes, he's like, "Wah."
Yeah. For $15,250, you could have got yourself a National Treasures autograph, red logo, Jalen Hurts signed rookie card. This is a PSA 9 Pop 1.
RPA, baby.
Very, very nice looking card.
Jalen's a big dog. He's a big dog.
He just missed out on the MVP this year. We got Josh Allen just got announced MVP.
Which is completely fair.
Yeah, it was probably like Allen, Lamar, Barkley, and Hurts, I'd say, were probably like the top 4 in there. But yeah, our boy Joshy took it out, which was awesome.
No, good to see that.
All right, we've got $6,106, 2018 Panini National Treasures Rookie Patch Auto. This is a green number jersey, Saquon Barkley, PSA 10, and it's numbered 8 of 26.
Barkley.
Man, this guy's season was absolutely phenomenal.
It was pretty good.
He sits there at the Giants. They're like, nah, we don't want you. Goes to the Eagles, 2,000 yards rushing, just absolutely tears everyone apart. Could be a Super Bowl champion next time we talk about him.
I know, that'd be the ultimate.
Yeah.
As an athlete, like just being at a club and they're like, nah, you don't really fit the game plan.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, see ya. And then go win a Super Bowl that same year. It's like, see ya, dudes.
In the same division with the division crosstown rival. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned it before, but I'm not sure if you remember when the Eagles played the Giants and Barkley had like 185 yards rushing, and the coach came up and was like, you're only 10 yards away from your all-time high. Do you want to go get it? He's like, nah, man, we're going to win the game. Let the young guys eat. Like, just an awesome dude. Like, against your own team, like, you'd normally go for that. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, stick it up him,
Yeah.
All right, we've got a basketball here. So $14,640. Upper Deck Exquisite Collection Autograph Patch LBJ. BGS.
LJB, brother.
What did I say?
LBJ.
LeBron James.
Yeah, well, you've written on here LJB.
Yeah. Well, LBJ, LeBron James. God damn it. I'm half hungover. Get off my back. It's a PSA. It says a BGS mint 9 and Beckett 10. So that's quite interesting. I'm going to have to go back and look at the photo on that one because...
Yeah, that's a cool card though.
It is an amazing card. And also really relevant because he just put up a 42-point game. He's the youngest player in NBA history to ever have a 40-point game. And now he's also the oldest to ever have a 40-point game.
LeBron is racking up this like book of just stats and records that I think that's the only reason he's still playing, seriously.
Yeah.
It's just to like break records and then set records that probably won't be broken again for a very long time.
Longevity in his body has been one of his greatest strengths because he just hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah.
And he's openly spoken about it multiple times. He spends $1 to $2 million a year just on his body health.
Yeah.
So that's how you get longevity.
And you can do that when you're making like fucking $500 million a year. It's a drop in the ocean.
Very true. Very true. All right. The last sale I've got here is something really, really cool. And I didn't know that this even existed. But for $3,964 or $6,300, we have 2 tickets to the Australian Open 2026 finals for the men's and women's games.
Who's selling that on Golden?
Yeah, I've got
so strange. Or is that the one you were telling me was like the it's like a charity?
Yes.
Charity auction or something.
So the coolest thing is that the complete sale from these, it all goes to a range of charities. So they're going to go to the Stars Serving Up Love, selected for their event, Asheville Fund, the Asheville Area Habitat for Humanity, the United Way of Asheville, and the Buncombe County and Asheville Tennis Association. So
basically somebody in Asheville loves tennis.
They've got permanent seats to both men's and women's, and they've auctioned them off, which is so cool because we just had
so strange. Like it's like so close to home. Like on Golden, they're just selling Australian Open tickets.
Yeah, but again, like
this far out, like we just finished the Open.
That's the thing, though, right? It's super relevant. Like we've just had the Open. You know, Sinner went out there and absolutely just torched it this year.
Drug cheat.
He did get done, didn't he? He did get done.
He's on anabolic steroids or something.
There's like a bit of a grey line there, though.
And I saw this stat line though that showed his win-loss ratio before anabolic steroids and his win-loss after, and it's like chalk and cheese. It's like, 0-30 and then 30-0.
Yeah.
Like that's what it looked like. I was like, dude, come on.
Like I said though, man, there must be something there. They wouldn't be letting him play if he was.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Everybody's corrupt these days.
everybody's corrupt. But that's it for Golden Auctions today, man. Today's episode is brought to you by Collect Fest, Australia's new and biggest collectibles festival, held here in Melbourne with over 300 stands, with many, many more to come. We've got some big exhibitors like the Royal Australian Mint, Kink Comics, Luna Cards, Anime Works, and many, many other small businesses.
These events are going to be held at the premier convention centers in each city and encompassing all collectibles from comics, video games, gaming, sneakers, trading cards, toys, and much more. If you can collect it, it will be there. Gary Hayes, King Pokemon, courtesy of Collect Fest and us here at the Hobby Podcast, is actually going to be at the Melbourne show, and we have some super exciting announcements to come. You're not going to want to miss Gary's first trip down under. Melbourne, 5th to 6th of July, 2025. Brisbane, 26th to 27th of July. Sydney, 23rd to 24th of August.
So make sure you jump online, grab your tickets at collectfest.com.au. That's collectfest.com.au, and don't miss out.
This is going to be a phenomenal beginning for a new convention in Australia. I mean, the one in Melbourne is going to be held at the Melbourne Exhibition and Convention Centre. So we're super, super excited for that. We look forward to seeing you there. We will be there.
We are going to get stuck into some massive news.
Disney Lorcana, baby. I participated in the DLC for Oceania, which was here in Melbourne, which was fantastic.
And I just want to really highlight the participating ward. Yep.
Yeah, I did. I participated.
Participated in it. Yep.
Yeah, it was a beautiful event. Shout out to TAC Games that actually ran that event. I love that they're using that location now for their events. They used to use a hall out in Bundoora at a university, just not the same. This room is one, it's great, it's easy to get to, but it's very well temperature. It was nice and cool because we were in the middle of a heat wave. It was like 40 degrees outside. You had about probably almost 550 to 600 people in this one room, and under any normal circumstance, you'd be like, this is going to be a sweat box, and it wasn't. It was very comfortable. It was very clean. It was a really well run event. So yeah, that was really, really good fun. I'll definitely attend others. But what I did learn, and I kind of already knew this, but I guess in my professional playing career, you really have to build a deck and give yourself time to learn the deck and actually grind out games and practice. If you just rock up to an event with a deck after playing the game only one time before, expect to, get hosed. But, it wasn't entirely my fault. There was a friend of the show who told me that they'd build a deck for me and I was able to use it. And we were meant to practice, but we never got the chance to practice. And then 3 days out, they told me they were going to use the deck. So I was kind of up, S Creek without a paddle.
Yeah. Back against the wall type
So
stuff.
I grabbed a theme deck off the shelf at the store, bought that, slapped a couple of random cards in there, which turned out to be the wrong idea because the cards I took out were the ones I needed to make that theme deck work. And yeah, I rocked up to the event to participate and have a bit of fun.
Nice. I want to take a step back. It was at Marvel Stadium, and how many players were there?
I think the official number was like 561 or something.
That's massive, and a lot
First event.
First
major Disney Lorcana event that wasn't run by a store.
Sure. And a lot of people in from overseas.
There was a massive international influence. I'd say maybe a quarter, but all from different places. There were people from Spain, France, all over Asia. There was people from the US there. But that seems to be, sort of the way it goes because they don't run a lot of the DLCs. I think they run like 5 or 6 all around the world. So, and there's big stuff up for grabs. And you get an automatic, I think the top 2 got automatic entries into the actual World's Championship, whenever that's going to be. And that's going to be pretty crazy. I mean, the one thing it solidified for me is Disney Lorcana is a real TCG behemoth, and it is here to stay. So if you've been thinking about dabbling into it, but you're like, I don't want to get into another game that's just going to fade out, this isn't that game. This isn't the game that's going to fade out. This is the game to get into. And I love it. I love the cards. I love the pack opening experience. It's good fun, man.
Yep. So you prefaced last episode that a big part of it was to go experience it, check it out. There was some promo card stuff there as well.
Yep.
You're 3 days out and you don't have a deck. I know you said you've got yourself a theme deck.
Yeah.
Like, how did you feel? Because you have talked yourself up as this expert card game player, and all I've heard so far is I wasn't prepared. I didn't have a deck. You didn't even practice before this massive event.
I know.
So you walk in the doors, you get your first opponent. Who's sitting opposite you? Is it someone you've played before?
It was a lovely young lady who was there with her family from Adelaide. I believe she was about 10 or 11.
Okay.
She must have been about 10 or 11.
And that's really difficult, right? Because
So I sat down to face her, and I'm like, in a normal situation in a game that I'd be prepared for, I'm like, this is going to be easy. Like any, like just a guy would. Like you sit down and go, all right, like, younger child, I've got more experience, more life experience, more TCG experience, own a shop. This should be a walk in the park every day of the week. Whew. Did I learn the hard way? I got absolutely rinsed by this lovely little girl. Our game, they give you 50 minutes, and in 50 minutes, you've got to play two rounds. I think it's two. I don't think you were allowed to play three. I think it was just like best of two. And then if you won, you got a certain amount of points. And if they won, they got a certain amount of points and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, she absolutely cleaned me up in about 20 minutes in 2 games. Yeah. And it was at that moment when we were playing and I'm drawing cards off my deck and I'm looking at them and I'm just like, the am I supposed to do right now? I literally had no clue. Like, I know how to play Lorcana. We've played it together. But even when I bought that theme deck, I sleeved it up, put it in my deck box, and just got on with my life.
Yeah.
So I didn't even read the cards. I had no idea what the idea of the deck was. I guess when the deck I was meant to use became unavailable, I sort of accepted my fate, and I was like, let's just go have fun. And that's what I did. I only played 3 games because you had to play a minimum of 3 to get your participation stuff and then drop. So it was a really fun three games, playing with the other people, having a great laugh. I explained to them my situation. They thought it was hilarious. They watched me just fall apart at the table in front of them. It was great. But then, dropping gave me another 3 hours to just sort of cruise around and actually enjoy the event and catch up with some friends. And, shout out to Joshy McPhee from the Card Hub as well. He was there vending and he did an awesome job. I sold him a bunch of bulk cards too, it was, it was a massive win for an event and a massive L for me as a competitor.
Man, it's I think the title of like I'm the collector and you're the card player, I think we pass that mantle on to me now because your situation was horrible. I will give you some points on that, but to walk out of an event losing to an 11-year-old girl, I'm sorry, man.
Hey, don't be ageist and sexist, brother. Don't be ageist and sexist, man. She was good,
to an 11-year-old. It just shows.
You know what I noticed too, right? I kept track of her throughout the day, and she was on the top tables nearly all day.
That's awesome.
Nearly all day. So she actually knew what she was doing, right? She knew how to play. So all credit to her. It just wasn't what I expected when I got my first matchup and I sat down and I'm obviously trying to spark up a conversation with an 11-year-old that I'd never met in my life. And, she was obviously shy. To then for her to start playing and not be shy and be like, I'm doing this and bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, jeez. Like, God, that's not what I expected at 9 a.m. in the morning.
I wish I'd been there to see that.
Oh, God, it was a bloodbath.
How was it?
I'll tell you what, a proper ego killer. Like, I walked around that room for the rest of the day, just in a mild slump. Just for the rest of the day, like, oh, yeah. Hey, guys.
How was it different to the One Piece tournaments that you've done in the past before? Because you walked into there with a bit more understanding of the cards and
One Piece was different in a sense that, I was there to compete. And I did compete. And I did all right. Whereas, Lorcana, I walked in going, I'm either going to fluke this or I'm going to get absolutely hammered. And I got absolutely hammered. So, I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Like even the last opponent that I played, before he did his, like my last move, I counted up like the lore and I'm like, all right, well, you're going to win next turn. So good game. He's like, oh no, but you can do this and do that. I'm like, bro, good game. I quit. Like, let me go. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I was with that third round. And then I just went bang, drop. I was like, all right, sweet, I'm out. Give me my promos, and I'll just cruise around and did what I did. And it was good fun.
That's awesome. The winner in the day, did you cross paths with them at all?
Did not. Nah.
Nah. Don't. Do you know anyone that finished in like a top 10, had a really good outing, or?
I know a couple of the names. One of them had played in our store championship that was like top 8, I think. But yeah, no, that was it. Because again, like when I was playing One Piece like competitively, I spent a lot of time like in the scene, and I played a lot of different shops, and I played our shop.
Yep.
Whereas Lorcana, I've literally played 2 games before that, but it's a relatively, easy to understand game. It's not too crazy. But again, yeah, what do I know? Yeah, I'm absolutely pumped.
You said before that like it's here to stay, and seeing the turnout. Are you going to play a bit more now? Do you think?
Yeah, for sure.
You think you'll pick it up now and actually like build a proper deck? And
yeah, well, I think what I need to do though is, from the store perspective, is work it into our play cycle more regularly, so we can work on that. Because that's the easiest way for me to be able to play and practice is if we're running in the shop, because I'm already there.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, it's definitely a game that I enjoy though, because the way it works, the winner is the first person to get to 20 lore, which basically means you exhaust your cards to either challenge your opponent's other cards, or you exhaust them to gain lore. So, it's a really fun way to play a card game, as opposed to usually you're just trying to kill your opponent or take all their life, whereas this one's more of a race to a finish line. So I kind of like that. It's good fun.
On brand, a bit more kid friendly.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's Disney. It's Disney, and I love that they say challenge, not attack. It's definitely for everyone, literally for everyone.
That's awesome.
But yeah, you can be the player, and to be fair, my collection in recent time probably makes me the collector. To be fair, like I've probably leapfrogged you.
Yeah, you're still going ham. There's no doubt about that
in that aspect. So for now, I am the collector. Leroy is the player.
Yeah, that's fair. Dino, I want to talk a little bit about Prismatic. Obviously, it's been a massive topic of ours the last few weeks. It is the most topical thing we've seen in Pokemon since, sliced bread. Stock issues. We've just had the 2-pack tins recently drop.
Yep.
And there's not a lot of product around still. I did a walk by some of the different stores to see if they had any on shelf. None there. Can you talk through like a store perspective? What did you see in at Luna in terms of stock getting there? What have you heard from people coming in the store? What's the general vibe you're kind of getting from that at the moment?
Yeah, we didn't get any tins. So yeah.
Yeah, good chat.
That's all there is on that one.
Thanks.
People have come in and asked, and we didn't get any. And I've spoke to people in the community, and that went to Big W's and Targets and Kmart's, and a lot of those big box stores only had like 1 case of tins, which is like 8 tins or something, which is dumb. Just dumb.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense. It's so stupid. But yeah, Prismatic seems to be traumatic more than anything. I've been fortunate enough to open it up on our Whatnot streams on 3 different occasions now, and other than the midnight launch where we actually pulled the Leafeon SAR, the other 2 have just been, very, very average. It's almost an unenjoyable product to open.
Yeah,
realistically, it's so rough.
I think the fact there's no like illustration rares.
I was going to say, man, I think it's a tough one, right? Because they introduced the Pokeballs and the Master Balls instead of illustration rares. And it's proven to be a bit of a set killer, just because those illustration rares in those sort of uncommon to rare slots really make you feel like you're actually pulling hits, and they are hits. But you take those out, and you've just got a normal generic card with texture and a Pokeball on it instead of an illustration rare. So I think at the time we were all so excited to have Pokeballs and Master Balls in an English set. But on reflection, I would say to Pokemon, no, don't do that.
Yeah, if you compare something that's like really relevant at the moment is the illustration rares from Brilliant Stars. So the Vaporeon, Flareon, and Jolteon.
They're the trainer gallery.
The
ones,
trainer
right?
gallery cards, right? They were, 2 to 3 of them in a box, and there was, 20 in the set.
Yeah.
And those cards there, the artwork on there, are arguably the nicest in the set. Very cheap, affordable cards, but you pull them and it feels great. Now, also the flip side of that is those cards now on the market are selling for an absolute gangbuster. So I saw a PSA 10 set of those sold for about $650.
Was that us selling that?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was. You recently just sold
On
some.
eBay, right?
Yeah, but sales are north of $200 on all those cards.
It's crazy.
And that, like, you feel like you get the hit, but it's also sellable. The Pokeballs and Master Balls, unless it's a desirable Pokemon at the moment, the Master Balls aren't doing much.
Nah, that's what I mean. But I think it's worth mentioning because I don't know if we mentioned it before when we've talked about Prismatic, but that is something that we need to consider as to why the pull rates feel so bad. Is because you've got Pokeballs and Master Balls that are actually taking those slots. So that's why it's been coined traumatic evolutions, because it's just one, it's really hard to get, and then when you get it, it's really hard to hit anything.
Yeah, for sure. And it's still, everything around it is just so negative online as well. Like, you look through the social forums,
it's
and
still shocking.
Anytime anyone's trying to sell anything, it's just laughing emojis, and the comments are just so stacked. It's so negative.
Yeah.
And then we have big moments like the Whatnot streamer, Pokemon to Go.
Oh, dude.
Only a few days ago, a Whatnot streamer with over 17,000 followers gets caught for cheating on Prismatic, and it's
repacking, resealing booster packs. Man, it's crazy. It's so disappointing that those people exist, and somebody that had 17,000 followers on that platform as well. Just like, bro, it's just so scummy, man.
Yeah,
I don't like it at all.
And like, sidebar here, I feel so sorry for the people at Whatnot, because they're offering this amazing platform for us to stream on. And every time it happens, it's like it's a negative reflection on them, but it's not their fault. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, there's always going to be some bad eggs, in the group. And
Whatnot, thankfully, they take swift action. They did it with Blake's Breaks and some other ones that I know about. Like, they shut them down pretty quick.
Yeah,
which is what you need to do in that situation. You just have to rule with like an iron fist, and like as soon as it comes in, just like crush it.
Yeah,
like see ya.
So, what's the answer to Prismatic? Is it mass production? Just print it to the house and drop product everywhere.
Well, they can't do that, bro, because they have other sets that need printing. That's the thing. It's like when they said they were going to like use all their resources and print the shit out of it and get it out there. I was like, bluff. Like, no way. How are you going to do that? You got all these other sets you need to do. So, I think with Prismatic, we always knew that it was going to be staggered release anyway, right? Like, we were meant to have the mini tins and the surprise boxes drop. Surprise boxes have been pushed back when the mini tins came out the other day. And then, there's other items that are coming in the future too. So, yeah, I think it'll always be around. I think it's always going to be a hard set to get a hold of, just like Hidden Fates was. Hidden Fates was kind of the same as a holiday set. Like, everything was hot as, and it was just impossible to get a hold of. But you look around now, and like, while Hidden Fates is expensive because it's like 5 years old. It was 2019, right? Hidden Fates. So it's like almost 6 years old. So it's expensive now, but it is around. Like, you can find the product, So it's it'll be just one of those things, Prismatic. It's going to be interesting to compare the Journey Together release with Prismatic once we get there. So
yeah, well, I think that's why we've seen Battle Partners going so well, is a roll-on effect from people not being able to get Prismatic, because seeing Battle Partners drop lately and seeing a lot of openings and people really enjoying that set with all those like art illustration cards, people are really excited about this set.
That set is amazing though. Those cards, I've been lucky enough to bust open on stream. It must be like 12 or 14 boxes, and so I've pulled a lot of the cards and seen a lot of the cards, and they're just beautiful. They're like just really nice artworks, and I don't know a lot of these newer trainers, right, because we grew up with all the old ones, but yeah, there's just it's no surprise to me that set's so nice.
Yeah, like you look through the set, like Lily's Clefairy and Zoroark, Salamence. You've got there's the other Lily's Clefairy as well, which is a nice card. The Ferret, the Articuno.
The Articuno is probably the best card in the set, in my opinion.
Articuno, even the Whale Lord. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty cool too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what was missing from Prismatic Evolutions as well. But this is the other thing too, right? Prismatic Evolutions was the first English set to ever have a god pack. That is going to carry that set to the future. If you ever think you're actually going to be able to buy Prismatic Evolutions at retail after like getting it from a retail distributor or a retail seller, I should say, you're absolutely dreaming. That set is always going to be massive. It's always going to be hot for that one reason. You know, like if a god pack sold, we sold a god pack for like, I think they sell for like $6,000 or $6,500 now. Like that's going to be a $20,000 to $30,000 booster pack in the future without a shadow of a doubt. So, you know, it's always going to be hard to get. Bitching and moaning about it ain't going to fix it. It's just going to ruin your day. Like we talked about last time. So
yeah, 100%.
You know.
It's not every day you get a set drop that has like 7 cards over $600 on the secondary market as well.
No, that's it. That's it. But we've already covered that. Let's not go back down that rabbit hole. But yeah, Battle Partners looks good, man. I'm pumped for it. I think it's I'm looking forward to Journey Together. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, because they recently announced Heatwave Arena dropping on the 14th of March, which is the other side of the Japanese set. So it comes in 2 weeks before Journey Together.
Yeah.
And that set looks equally as nice as Battle Partners.
It's got a Ho-Oh and Cynthia's Garchomp.
Yeah, it does.
I love it.
Yeah, it does. Cynthia makes her return.
Yeah.
She could be one of the most like favorite like bosses characters in Pokemon.
She Elite Four, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the final boss of the Elite Four.
It depends which one, which game.
Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah.
Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah. Because the final boss in like the OGs was Giovanni.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was Giovanni. I think
so.
It was somebody. Oh no, then you ended up playing Gary, remember? Like he ended up being like the 5th one. You thought you'd won and then you had to go fight Gary. You're like, far out.
God damn it, Gary.
God damn it, Gary.
Dino. CGC grading fake playtester cards. Have you seen the articles on this?
Yeah.
I was so disappointed when all this came out because when I saw these cards originally, I was so excited. The idea of having authentic playtester cards back from, 1996 and you can get them graded, like they looked awesome. And then it comes out that they're all fake.
Yeah.
So brutal. So the way it is CGC have graded around 1,500 cards, which have
these prototypes.
Of these prototypes, which were authenticated by an original person that worked on Pokemon back on its release and confirmed that these were a thing. Unfortunately, all of these cards are counterfeit fakes.
Are they all counterfeit fakes? Because I thought the original, like the first couple that came out, came from some guy that used to work for Pokemon like back in 1999. Is that not true?
The big lot that have recently been graded, Takami Akabane was the person that authenticated and said, yep, these things are legit. Unfortunately, someone has gone and mass printed these. And like I said, they put 1,500 through CGC. They've sold for over $1 million on the secondary market in the last few months.
What a scam.
So CGC has recalled all the cards, which is an issue because there's all these like printing checks and balances that they're doing that are saying that they were printed 2024.
Yeah.
And that's massive because CGC have felt like they need to come out and make a statement about, their company and how it's, 0.003% of the cards that they've graded. And they feel like they've had to protect their identity.
Yep.
It's one of those things where it's almost too good to be true. And then the absolute giveaway for me, I think, is that most of them were grading PSA 9s and 10s.
CGC 9s and 10s.
CGC 9s and 10s. So you were telling me that cards that are, over 30 years old are all grading 9s and 10s. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. And I think all grading companies should be on notice and now implement the same kind of high-res scanning technology to just verify when these cards actually were printed. Because the article I read, there's a very specific dot pattern that basically, tells you what kind of printer it is. So then you can ascertain what year that printer was actually made. So it's somewhat surprising to know that none of them do that already. But again, these guys are grading millions of cards. Like, so, they've obviously got what they thought was the right authentication checks, and now they've just hit a sort of a speed hump and go, all right, we might have made a mistake here, so let's rectify it so we don't make the same mistake in the future. I mean, they lent into somebody that worked for the company and confirmed that these are authentic, and 9 times out of 10, that's going to be fine, right? If these were authentic, there wouldn't be an issue with the guy that authenticated them that said, yeah, you're good to go. But because they aren't genuine, obviously everybody's putting the onus on CGC, and I think it's fair. Obviously, they said it was authentic and they're not. But it's not a business-ending mistake, in my opinion, by any stretch.
No, I think they've done the right thing in admitting that it is an error type thing. But
their slabs still feel the best.
Yeah, it was just disappointing to see because the cards look great, and the idea. So it was 1990. These play testers were. They were before 95. So I think it's the idea of it that hurts more. I mean, I wasn't one of the person that bought one for $204,000, which is brutal.
So massive L, bro.
Yeah, but that's huge news.
Yeah,
out of the grading world. So
yeah, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. You kind of feel for the people that bought it. You feel for CGC. There seems to be a bit of that kind of the hobby this year is just it's brutal. There's some stuff going on from just it's hectic.
Negative arms just popping out everywhere at the moment.
Yeah.
We've got to try and keep it positive.
Yeah.
Well, maybe let's finish Pokemon with some actual good news then.
Yeah.
The 2024 illustration art cards have just been released. So you've got the 3 cards, the Toxtricity, Pikachu, and the Feral Gator. They're at Pokemon Center. Good news story. Great looking cards.
Feraligatr looks great.
Yeah, he's swimming through the water.
Yeah. Pikachu looks cool too. I'm not gonna sell that short. Pikachu looks great. Where did I have them? I had them somewhere.
The Toxtricity is a standardized kind of EX style card, which I've never really got around as much.
No.
But the Feral Gator has very much an old feel to it. Which
looks I think it might be watercolor. It's the way it kind of looks. It looks really cool.
Yeah, but that's always really cool. I'd love to get my hands on a set of those.
Yeah, so is it EB Games that are going to be dropping those promos in Australia?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's only been listed as Pokemon Center so far, but we can update once we know for sure exactly where they're going to be dropping. So, but that's it from me from Pokemon. Is there anything else you want to call out before we move on?
I don't think so, man. I think the sentiment around the hobby has been a little bit better since last episode, just in terms of the way people are treating each other and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, again, we covered a scammer that was bloody resealing packs, and then this mistake by CGC. There's always something to talk about at the moment. It's pretty crazy. But I'm happy to move on to an interesting couple of dot points. For us here in Australia, we've got some exciting things coming up. Yeah,
it's going to be a really, really big 12 months for not just more so Melbourne.
Yeah.
The sports capital of the world. And anyone that tries to tell us it's not, we have everything here.
Yeah, bro.
We have the Australian Open.
The Grand Prix in next month.
Grand Prix. We've got the Melbourne MCG for football. We've got everything here.
Everything. All the good stuff comes here.
And now we're going to have 3 NBA basketball games here at the end of 2025.
That's crazy.
They're going to be exhibition games against local teams, not confirmed teams that are coming yet, but still really, really exciting.
Still really, really cool, man. I'm lucky enough to have attended 2 games at the Staples Center to watch the Lakers play, and it's a whole different level or different kettle of fish. It's awesome. Yeah. So it's cool that the basketball fans will get to see some of that. It's not something I'll probably go to be honest. If it was a regular season game between 2 NBA teams, for sure, count me in. But exhibitionism is more your thing than mine.
What does that even mean? I'm not the one that rocks up to play tournaments just to lose to an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
At least when I lose to national champions.
She was good, man.
Calling champions.
She was good.
But
she knew how to play.
Backing off that, it's been a massive trade period in the NBA as well. So I know it's not card related, but futures on card sales will be influenced. So if we think about some of the big players in the NBA market that, you know, have played and stayed at the team for their whole career, like your Kobe's and your Jordans, don't count the Wizards. We've just had a massive trade, which has seen Luka Doncic, which was like the 2020. He was the rookie card. It was the card that shot from $25 up to $700 pretty much overnight. He's, you know, one of the most marketable players in the league, along, you know, Steph and Durant and whatnot. And he's just been traded to the Lakers, man.
Yes.
He's just been traded to the Lakers for AD.
It's always good to be a fucking Lakers fan, man.
It's the Hollywood team always has to have a superstar.
Yeah, baby.
LeBron's over 40. There's the two new teams coming into the NBA, you know, the Seattle team and the Vegas team. AD's not going to be there when they go, but Doncic, they're going to have him for a while now.
I tell you what, though, and I love Luka, but it was weird seeing the first image of him in a Lakers jersey.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's just been, like, the Mav. You know what I mean? So, like, seeing that picture, I was like, this is exciting. But I was also kind of like, oh, brother.
It really sucks because, like, Dirk, obviously, you know, European, the Mavericks won a title, has a statue.
Yeah.
Doncic was meant to be like the 2.0 of that. You know, Mark Cuban, who, mind you, isn't an owner in the Mavs anymore, came out and said, like, if you were going to have...
Is he not? I didn't know that.
No, so he sold his portion last year. So he wasn't a part owner. But before that, they came out and was like, oh, Mark, if you could choose between your wife and Doncic, what are you doing?
He said, call my divorce lawyer.
He said, call my divorce lawyer.
Yeah.
And then for him to come out and get traded, it's, oh, man. It's really like crazy. The city is going mental. They've literally had it's 4 days after the trade, and the city's had protests every day.
That's crazy. Oh, my God. But, yeah, it's good to be a Lakers fan, brother.
Yeah.
Good to be a Lakers fan. It's interesting. And so obviously, you know, there wasn't much else sort of happen for us in that period. But I think moving into, you know, the next trade cycle will be very interesting to see who and what the Lakers, you know, do. Because obviously, you know, now that Luke is there, you've got to kind of get him support. Like, we need a good center. We've needed a good center for a long time.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what else comes of it and what the Lakers look like going into next season.
Yeah. And like I mentioned earlier, since the trade, LeBron has just like wound the clock back 10 years.
Oh,
He's been scoring
bro.
30, 37, and 8,
man.
42, 10, and 9. And he hit 4 to open the game against Golden State, hit 4 threes in the space of 2 minutes, and one was from the logo. Yeah. Like, just pulled up from the logo.
Literally, he's just going, Luka, I'm happy you're here.
Yeah.
I'm going to play basketball again.
Oh, man. But, like, there was that, and then there was also 2 other massive trades as well, which I just want to quickly touch on. The Kings got Zach LaVine, which is awesome now because now he's with DeMar DeRozan again. So they're reunited there. De'Aaron Fox goes to the Spurs. So now you've got Fox and Wemby over there at the Spurs. Jimmy Butler went to Golden State.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I love Jimmy Butts too. I reckon he's a cool dude, man.
Yeah, but they fleeced him, man. They got Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick. Yeah. Right? And, like, Wiggins, Butler, like, it's like a bit of a poor man thing. But, like, the first-round pick and Kyle Anderson, like, that's nothing to sleep on there. But yeah, it was the craziest week. Like, we're going into Super Bowl for the NFL, and the NBA was like, hold my beer. Yeah. Bang, bang, bang. Trades. We're coming to Australia. Like, how cool is this? So massive. But the only player I've seen where their cards have really survived change of teams is LeBron. You know, like, LeBron's got Cavs, Heat, Cavs, and now Lakers. And it's probably worth us doing a bit of a deep dive into exactly, you know, what are more desirable? Is it just like numbered cards or whatnot? But, you know, having LeBron across 3 teams for cards is not something we see all the time either. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see Doncic, you know, in terms of the Mav cards, are they going to be worth more now? Are we going to see them skyrocket, you know, on things like Golden and stuff? So that'd be really interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I'll tell you what, I'll definitely be, whatever the first NBA product is that's going to have Doncic cards in it, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I need a case of those, and just see what I can get.
Yeah,
see what I can get.
Well, it's a massive market for him now too, but
yeah, and there's you know, I mean, the Mavs are a big basketball club, but the Lakers are the Lakers. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
They are the team.
Yeah. His Lakers rookie card is going to be like a huge card.
Yeah. Be interesting. I mean, they do like 30 set releases a year in the NBA. There's all the different products. So, yeah, which one is it going to be?
Yeah. There's always something coming up. But, all right, most exciting thing, I think, on the whole show. Sorry, guys, if you really enjoyed something else. But the NFL, baby, is coming to Melbourne in 2026 for a regular season game.
That's crazy.
Now, we know for sure the LA Rams are locked in. It looks like they're going to be playing the Eagles, who could be Super Bowl champs. So we'll have to wait and see. But that is huge. Like you said before, like Melbourne, sporting capital of the world. And this is why. Because, you know, I'd assume it's going to be played at the MCG, which means 115,000 people can squeeze in there, which would be madness. And yeah, I don't care what it costs to get a ticket. I'm getting one.
Yeah. I mean, we wake up 4 a.m. every Monday morning to watch the games.
Yeah.
It's something we've been super passionate about. Oh, if my Seahawks come to Melbourne, man, how crazy would that be?
Dude, if the Steelers came, I'd buy the most expensive, like the best ticket I could possibly get.
Yeah.
Like, just be like, I need to enjoy that. But yeah, you know, it's pretty wild. It's pretty crazy. Because I've never been to an NFL game.
Yeah.
I know you, I believe, have just been tailgating at an NFL game, right?
No, I've been in
and
the games as well.
You've been into a game as well, yeah.
The full tailgate into the game.
Yeah.
Which we could do here in Melbourne as well. You know, we do it for grand final where they allow the barbecues and, you know, we could tailgate outside the G and head in. But, you know, the international games have always been so big for the NFL because, you know, London, Germany, Mexico, you know, like you see the crowds and everyone is there in their jerseys. It's such a cool atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, bro.
It's like just a neutral crowd for the game.
I'm gonna have to be a Rams fan that day.
Man, I don't know if the Eagles come out and we get to watch Barkley just tearing it up. Could you imagine seeing?
You know how big the Rams actually have a massive following in Australia, though.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I can't remember who I was talking to about it the other day, but somebody mentioned it. And then we looked up some stats and I was like, holy shit, they're like the third most popular team in Australia.
Yeah, right.
Which makes no sense.
Maybe, yeah. No idea.
I was like,
no
why?
idea why. It's
we do have a lot of farmers. Maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know.
Oh, shit. That's too funny. It'd be crazy, man, because the game will be in the first few weeks of the season. So we'll probably see the Hawks, you know, win the AFL Grand Final, and then a few weeks later we get to go watch an NFL game.
Yeah.
That's cool as, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be sick.
What a great time to be alive.
It's going to be sick, man. It's going to be sick. But, yeah, tell you what else is going to be sick. Collect Fest, baby.
It's going to be very sick.
Now, I know you guys would have heard all about Collect Fest. They've been sponsoring a bunch of episodes, and you know me and Lee are going to be there, and we brought Gary out to the Melbourne show, and we're doing a big base set box break and blah, 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 blah. But we've also committed to going to Sydney and Brisbane, which means we're going to put our thinking caps on. We already have them on, me in particular. Here it is. And we're going to see what we can drum up for both the Sydney and the Brisbane shows as well. Again, in collaboration with Collect Fest, we're pretty excited to get up there. I know we both have friends within the hobby in both states, so it's going to be really cool to be at those events. I am certainly earmarking it myself when people talk to me about it as you know, probably the biggest TCG expo, I think, moving forward in Australia for a few years, just based on the company that's running it, their experience, you know, the team behind it, obviously the numbers that they're looking at, you know, the venues that they've got. I'd be very surprised if, you know, it was challenged by anyone else in terms of the TCG space. But, yeah, we just thought we'd let you know we're going to be in Sydney and Brisbane locked in as well, which is going to be exciting.
Yeah, can't
Get
wait.
Kernsey up there, up on the Goldie in a Mankini.
Hey, there we go. Maybe put that on the Patreon. that we don't have
that
yet.
we don't have yet.
It's just going to be really exciting, man, to meet a bunch of the people that listen to the show and a bunch of our collector friends in those cities. It's not every day you get to fly interstate and go and visit your friends while you're doing something you love. So I can't wait for these shows, man. They're going to be something special.
They are going to be something special. We'll have to do something special. Obviously, you already know what's going down in Melbourne. So that's that cat's out of the bag. But Sydney and Brisbane, or Brisbane and Sydney, I should say, because they're in that order: Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney. We'll see what we can work on, what we can drum up. It's going to be some fun stuff. And obviously there's going to be a ton of content for you guys coming from us. So that's going to be cool.
Today's episode is brought to you by Collect Fest, Australia's new and biggest collectibles festival, held here in Melbourne with over 300 stands, with many, many more to come. We've got some big exhibitors like the Royal Australian Mint, Kink Comics, Luna Cards, Anime Works, and many, many other small businesses.
These events are going to be held at the premier convention centres in each city and encompassing all collectibles from comics, video games, gaming, sneakers, trading cards, toys, and much more. If you can collect it, it will be there. Gary Hayes, King Pokemon, courtesy of Collect Fest and us here at the Hobby Podcast, is actually going to be at the Melbourne show, and we have some super exciting announcements to come. You're not going to want to miss Gary's first trip down under. Melbourne, 5th to 6th of July, 2025. Brisbane, 26th to 27th of July. Sydney, 23rd to 24th of August.
So make sure you jump online, grab your tickets at collectfest.com.au. That's collectfest.com.au, and don't miss out.
This is going to be a phenomenal beginning for a new convention in Australia. I mean, the one in Melbourne is going to be held at the Melbourne Exhibition and Convention Centre. So we're super, super excited for that. We look forward to seeing you there. We will be there. You got anything else for Collect Fest, mate?
No.
If it's not on the notes, Kernsy's literally got nothing.
No, well, you literally
can't work with me on the fly, can you?
You just summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, I do that.
You summed it up. You even put it. You gave the dates. You put an exclamation point on it. And you're like, anything else from you? No, you just summed it up pretty well, mate.
Just setting you up for failure, brother.
I don't want to come out and say we're interviewing this person in Brisbane or Sydney.
Well, you can't say that.
No, you can't. Exactly. That's where my brain just automatically goes to.
Well, have you got anything else to add to this episode? We're trying a few new things, just in terms of alternating episodes. You guys know it used to be us and guest and us and guest. We're trying to expand our horizons and shake it up a bit this year. So obviously today is a very direct episode. It's also a shorter one than most of our others. Don't forget to actually, Kenzie, you talk about the giveaway.
Yeah, so we are giving away a Prismatic ETB once we hit
Prismatic Evolutions.
Once we hit 2,000 followers on YouTube. So
2,000 subscribers.
2,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and then you have to go over to episode 22, which is the PAX vlog, and you have to comment on there what your favorite card is in your collection.
Yep.
And you can enter in now, and we might hit 2,000 subscribers in a week. We might hit it in a year. But the moment we hit that 2,000 milestone, we'll be giving it away, and it'll be all related to that episode.
God, if it takes a year, that ETB is going to be worth $800 by the time we give it away.
It's going to make it even better. So make sure you go over there and you comment on that video.
Get your siblings, your parents, jump into their YouTube accounts, get in there, because you could get yourself 5 to 10 entries based on the size of your family, right? And then we'll ship it to you. And might throw in something extra, a little special, depending on how quickly we get there, I guess.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Well, our views exceed, on some of the episodes, exceed that number. So it should be very achievable.
For sure.
For you guys out there. There's already been a bunch of people entered in, which is great. I was sort of trying to keep on top of it so that, when we get there, we can do it relatively easy. But, so make sure you're following the Instagram as well at _hobby_pod. And call in for the Hobby Heroes. You would have noticed we didn't run it today. That is purely because we're actually recording this episode before the last episode drops. So usually in there, we prompt you to call and you would call for this show. No heroes today, which is fine. But guys, call up. You guys have done really well lately. I know there's a lot that people want to talk about. So just call up, take advantage of it. We'll put you on the air and we'll hash it out for you. But yeah, you got anything else to add there, big fella?
No, mate. Just I've got before this episode comes out, I'm playing in the next major Battle Hardened for Flesh and Blood. Right. So I've got a really low bar of just getting one win out of that event, but really excited. Hopefully, I can go.
How many rounds?
It'll be 6 rounds.
We want 2 wins.
We want 2 wins, yeah.
33.3333% strike rate.
I need to get in a lot of new games against the 3 new heroes that have just dropped in the Hunted.
Yep.
Because I'm not well prepared for them at all. But pretty much all the players at the moment are over in New Zealand at the moment. So they're over there for a call-in. So this week, the armories are like really light on for people because everyone's left the state. So
yep.
I've got a big task in the next few weeks. So
Yeah. Well, I guess just look into the decks that like top 4 or top 8 at those events as well. See what the cards are, read them. Then you got a basic understanding. You don't always have to just play against it to figure it out. Like if you basically build that deck for yourself, like theoretically, and read it and understand its combos and its worth, then that's what I used to do with One Piece. Like just go on the sim and build like the other competitive top decks and just be like, all right, so that's how that works. So this is what I would need to do, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, for sure.
But cool. All right. Well, that is Wheels Up, and we are out of here. Thanks so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.